Welcome to my podcast, From Divorce to Divinely Designed. I am your host, Michelle Wright, a spiritual mentor and guide for women navigating the full arc of rebuilding a life after divorce. Whether you're in the middle of the hardest chapter, opening your heart to love again, or rebuilding a blended family, you are in the right place. In this podcast, we explore how this is not happening to you, but how it is happening for you. Let's begin. Welcome to my podcast, From Divorce to Divinely Designed. So exciting for me to say that. It is this first podcast in the new rebranding. And I'm glad that you are here with me. You have come from Lead with Your Soul. And this whole podcast is about me helping you to understand what has brought me from Lead with Your Soul into a more specific spiritual understanding of what is happening for you and not just what is happening to you. And when I looked back in my life, I saw I had very specific threads that were leading me in this divinely designed life that I have. And I want to share that with you. I want to go deeper. I pulled some cards so it helps me talk about it. And as cards always do, they are so beautiful in their approach and how they help explain the journey. So the first part, and these are from Asha Frost, the medicine, is Wisdom Keeper. And it talks about mastery. And it has these beautiful pictures of the constellations. And that's exactly what I found was happening, is that with Lead with Your Soul and my work in my business with leading with your soul, I had this vast experience that I was wanting to share and learning how to really come to your soul and how to understand through different spiritual paths, spiritual modalities to uncover, explore your own soul, your own self. And as the vastness came in, it actually became more specific and more targeted. And I recognized, just like the specific constellations here, there were specific threads and experiences in my life that are calling me to work with women that are going through divorce, either contemplating, they're in the midst of divorce, or they've gone through divorce and they're healing. And I knew this because I have been divorced twice. And in that, I had the experience of divorcing, not doing any healing work, moving into my second marriage. And I recognized after 5 years, it just was not going to work. I had made some of the same errors, some of the same mistakes, and it takes two to tangle, and it was a lot of my own healing work. So I had my second divorce. This time, though, I had 2 beautiful children. And I promised myself that I would do that healing work to make sure that it was at a place for them, for myself, and then for the next iteration of my life. I didn't know what it was going to be at that time. I just knew that I had to take time to heal. And in that time, I really expanded my spirituality, expanded it past a parish, past a priest, past those types of very, I would say, conservative approaches to spirituality. And I got into angel cards. I got into tarot and oracle, astrology, human design. I got into understanding the pagan rituals and how they actually tied to the church as we know it. I started connecting to the phases of the moon and understand myself as a woman on this earth for this brief amount of time, but how it echoes through the ancestors. And I realized that those 2 divorces, I was not at my highest potential. I was not filled with love for myself. I was dealing with past trauma. And in my healing through therapy and in my healing through my spiritual practices, I began to uncover a new version of myself. And that's where I had Lead with Your Soul. I was so excited, and I knew I just needed to start talking about it. I didn't know where it was going to lead me, but I wanted to start talking and sharing so that other women could listen to their soul, could become their most authentic selves. And the more I go, the more I know that it is about love, deep love of self, which then is reflected out to love of others, the earth, the planet, the universe, the divine. It is about compassion, forgiveness, grace for yourself, then for others, the world, the universe. And it's going through that. It really tied me back into what were the very specific experiences in my life. And I recognize that that's my unique gift to share. I am a manifester in human design. I'm also a 6-2. What this means is that my 6 is really about making a lot of mistakes in the earlier part of my life. And now, as I get into my 50s, I am here to share my stories and to teach so that you can see yourself through my stories and my understanding. And you can reframe this for yourself and who you can become in your own context. And those constellations made me realize that it was about divorce. It was about finding love again. It was about blending families and the continuation of that. And I'm hoping for all the women that have followed Lead with Your Soul, you stay with me. I am going to continue to share as I explore and expand my spiritual practices. I'm going to continue to bring on guests that share their modalities and their offerings, because it's in all of that that we begin to see how the divine can work so uniquely through us, through other people, and we're called in different ways to answer. And that's where I had a second card from Asha Frost, and it was the Elder, and it was about wisdom. And so just what I said speaks about that. It speaks about, in human design, my 6th line. I am here to share. I am here to come and share my wisdom, my connection with the divine, my channeling of the divine, and I'm here to guide women forward in their own divorce journeys, in their own finding love again journey, and in their own blending journeys. That's what I'm here to do. I have had the experiences in my life. I've had the spiritual awakenings and the experiences of different modalities. And it's all started with 27 years as a teacher and an educational leader. That's what I did, is I helped people grow, either in my teaching or in their own practices as an educational leader working with people in a professional context. And I just see it so divinely designed. My talents coming here to share that with you. And I love Alana Fairchild. And this one is talking about release dark wounds and let love live. And is that not the whole arc of what I'm offering? Release those dark wounds. Let it go. Move towards love. And so that's what From Divorce to Divinely Designed is about. It's recognizing how things are happening for you, not to you. And how do you take all of those experiences that are happening for you and use them to expand, to heal, to release? And I'm so excited. I have women that are coming on here, and they're going to be talking about how their spiritual path has brought them into an expanded form, into their most authentic self, as it is right now when they're on here. And it's through their stories, their modalities, you might connect with them. And you can really begin to create the life that you want for yourself, no matter where you're at. What's going to stay the same? I'm going to be still doing messages for your soul. For me, those are so important. It's some of the ways that I can freely give a reading to women, where no matter where you are, you can listen to that, messages for your soul. It's the beginning for me in so many ways. I listened to so many as I was beginning to awaken to spirituality in a different form, that it helped me, first of all, see how powerful tarot and oracle cards were. It also helped me to recognize how my thinking can be quite rigid or stuck. And as I pulled different cards, it provided a variety of perceptions for me. And it allowed me to see my reality in a different way. Because our perception is our reality. And so you're going to continue to see that. You're going to continue to have me sharing the cards, sharing those readings, sharing those insights for you, for your own growth, for you to really connect with your own soul and see what resonates. What you're still going to see is me sharing authentically my journey, sharing my understanding of my truth right now, and how I'm continuing to grow and be excited. And my insights as I get downloads and messages from the divine through animals, through my walks, through what I read, through my classes. You're going to see a very specific focus on reclaiming you. And that is the healing after divorce. So I'm going to be very consciously looking at that offering and the pillars that are within it and creating episodes to expand that specifically. I'm going to be looking at the mentorship offering of reclaiming love and looking at those pillars and having episodes specifically for that. I'm going to be looking at blending a family, and I'm going to be talking about that. And once again, those specific pillars and making episodes around those. I'm going to continue to have guests on, and those guests are going to be talking about spirituality, and many of those guests are going to have gone through divorce. And they, similar to myself, will have had a spiritual awakening. I'm hoping to have my family on. They don't know that yet. I would love to have my children on and my husband on, just to share their experience of it, so you could see and hear from a different perspective. And I think that would be insightful. I know when I was looking at blending teenagers, I really found that voice to be exciting. So I'm hoping that happens. You never know. I'll do it as a big episode where all 6 of us are on. That's coming. I have plans to talk about blending in general. I have found that we're blending the family from Jason and I. We got married, and then now we have our children. And how do you specifically in that blending create a family? And then from there, the blending doesn't stop. You have their partners. Their partners has their families, and then you have grandchildren. And we are always continuously blending in our lives, blending our families, our friends. And so that focus on blending it can really be expanded. It can also be very specific. If there are questions that you might have. In my Instagram, I'm going to be asking that. I'm going to be asking what are specific areas and topics that you would like me to cover or share or to have for understanding. As an evolution of my understanding, of my connection to you as my listeners, as my connection to the divine. And I invite your input. I invite your questions and your wonders as they guide me forward. It is an exciting time for me. It's been interesting because I've been reluctant to go here. And I've been reluctant to go here. And I did a post on it just talking about the shame of divorce. And even though when I look at the constellations and I look exactly at the threads that bring me here as a spiritual mentor, as a guide, they are all through divorce, relationships, healing, blending. And so this is me answering a sacred call and knowing that my service is meant for you, for your healing, for your deeper understanding, and for your evolution and expansion. And as I say that, I feel a deep wholeness in my body, in my heart, and in my soul. Because I am called to service. And I believe that my words and my offering are the path forward for someone to become the greatest version of themselves, to start their healing, to start the questions that start their healing. I continue to offer the sacred portal on my Instagram. Weekly, I give that weekly quick snippet of advice with the cards. It is this connection to the divine and my spiritual practice that will continue to evolve as we evolve together. And we come to this deep understanding that it's not happening to you. It is happening for you. Thank you for being here today. If something in this episode landed for you, trust that. It found you for a reason. If today's episode moved something in you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. That is how we find each other. You can connect with me on my website, michellewright.co, and on Instagram at michellewright.co. And if you're ready to go deeper, a free connection call is the first step. Because this is not happening to you. It is happening for you. Until next time.